Good morning. Welcome to a superb Saturday. Today, we're going to start a very beautiful book, Tapping into Wealth. And I hope this book will really help each one of you in amassing more wealth in every possible way. So let's start our morning with the Power of Dreams programming. Let's go for it. Let's have some fluid movement and attract our dreams. More power to us. More power to our dreams. Let them all come to fruition. And so it is. So let's start our morning with Look What You Know, and let's go for a power fact. And then we'll have our mirror work. And of course, we will have a lot of things coming up. So, right, today is about that evening snack that we all have been used to. Most people feel hungry and tired 3 to 4 hours after lunch. And if at that time you don't eat the right snack, craving sets in and dinners become massive in terms of portions. The snack that I found helped people lose weight was a bowl of raw mixed sprouts, onions, tomatoes, and lemon. Make sure to sprout them 24 hours earlier. In the morning, it takes only exactly 4 minutes to put the rest together. So in case you do not like sprouts, other snacking options are fruits, nuts and seeds, homemade energy bars. It could be granolas that you make at home, very simple recipes you'll find online. And okay, so that's about it. So that's it. So you could have 3 options which we are being taught about. So sprouts is something which is very, very, very doable. Apart from that, any of the 3 that you thought you cared for. So wonderful. Very few of us log in right at time and we start our session exactly at 5. So requesting you to tell your Sangha members to join in time. They join in a bit later. So, all right, today we're starting this beautiful book. Let me take you through this. It's a groundbreaking program for increasing your income. And why do I stress on income? Why do I stress on money? Because I believe it's the most essential tool in living a life of abundance. If you have all the wealth in the world that you want, you're so much lighter because you know everything is possible rather than planning, saving, planning, and compromising. In our world of transformation, we definitely will attract as much as wealth as we want. So tapping into wealth is easy and it will really help us. How emotional freedom technique, which is the EFT, emotional freedom technique, can help you clear the path to making more money. It's written by Margaret M. Lynch with Dal Diana Schwartz. It's got a foreword by Nick Ortner. It's New York's best-selling author of The Tapping Solution. So tapping is an art, which is in EFT. We'll understand more about this art as we go through the book. So you can turn the page. Tapping into Wealth. Yes, it's a book. So please be on that page. How emotional freedom techniques can help you clear the path to making more money. Yes, now we can turn. Please turn, yeah. So now it's the contents are beautiful. So I'll just take you briefly through them. You'll understand them. it's very amazing after the introductions and forewords and your copyright, whatever this thing will be. It will make us understand the mind and the body money connection. I don't think any one of you knew that mind body could have a connection to money. That's going to become clearer. Now, what is tapping? We'll all understand. Now, what are the 5 categories of money? We'll understand. So money is not just money, which is in the form of currency. It's also the 5 categories. How do you really feel about money? Now, this is something which all of us will have to ask ourselves. And as the story progresses, we will understand. And what was your earlier view of money paradigm? Financial trauma, how debt keeps you stuck, your hidden agendas, resistance to setting big goals. Big goals हम क्यों set नहीं कर पाते? So what problem? Setting outrageous goals. This is something going to be a continuation of your book that you concluded yesterday about impossible dreams. In that, the first chapter was about this, of thinking big, making it large, shoot for the moon. Now, goal trauma, again, it's going to be in a way continuation because we talked about goal tasks and everything setting. So, and the very fact that sometimes in our mind, there's a question like, I don't deserve more money. So we don't attract it. Now we'll break the cycle of always striving, but never arriving. So हमेशा effort करते रहते हैं, लेकिन वो पूरा नहीं होता. And sometimes you feel invisible that, oh, there's so many people think so many things are happening around me, but I'm not even visible to anything and it's just not working for me. Yes, you can turn the page, sir. There are 3 more chapters. Becoming a great receiver. No, we were on the introduction. And then I refuse to be rich. There's a question. And this will also take us further in the journey, which I'm going to be introducing to you after this. Refuse to choose. So I refuse to be rich is something that we are just not agreeing to it, but it happens. And the 5 disciplines for creating a new vibration about money. So it's going to be very amazing. Let's go into this beautiful book. So in 2004, this is a foreword and we'll go for this. In 2004, burdened by debt, tired of the roller coaster ride of boom periods and bust periods, and unsatisfied with my daily work, I found myself looking for another answer. I knew that what I had been doing simply wasn't working, and it wasn't for lack of effort. I read the self-help books, I studied the financial courses, I strived to improve myself and my financial reality, but nothing seemed to click. It wasn't until I discovered EFT tapping that everything changed for me. It was at that moment that I began to realize that what I had always thought was an outer game, working harder, getting lucky breaks, the economy was really much more of an inner game, as were my perceptions, decisions, belief systems, trauma, and more. The awareness is a fantastic first step towards changing. But the question then remains, how do I actually change? I know I've got some old bad patterns, belief systems, and traumas, but what do I do about it? This is where tapping comes to the rescue in extraordinary ways. When I began tapping in 2004, it helped me to clear out that old junk and create a new reality for myself. The documentary film about EFT, the tapping solution, now also a New York Times bestselling book, which I set off to make in 2007, was a project inspired by a new way of being, a new reality, and said all things are possible. That I could make my dreams come true, and that I not only could provide incredible value and contribution to the world, but could also be financially rewarded for them. After I began tapping to change my financial reality, the last 6 years of my life have been simply extraordinary. And I credit the success to the time I spent taking a close, hard look at my financial beliefs and using tapping to change them. The simple, scientifically validated process has made all the difference in my life, and it can do the same for you. So I can guarantee you that there is no more powerful tool in the world to actualize change than tapping. But there are times when the tool isn't enough, when you need the guidance, care, and nurturing of a powerful mentor who can pinpoint exactly where you need to go, what you need to explore in order to get the fastest results possible. So this book is going to be a mentor for all of us. And this is where my friend, Margaret Lynch, and this amazing book come in. Sure, you can learn the tapping basics and use the process on your own, but it's likely to take longer, be more difficult, and generate results that are less powerful than what you will achieve with the laser focused guidance of an expert like Margaret Lynch. I met Margaret in 2008 at the dawn of both of our EFT careers. Her bright smile, engaging personality instantly attracted me to her. And after spending time with her, I quickly learned that not only did Margaret exude success and confidence, but she also had a deep understanding of money, finances, goal setting, and all the key elements to creating lasting success. I watched Margaret during the past several years, as she's continued to innovate on EFT, bringing a new and profound sense of clarity and enthusiasm, as well as impressive results to this work. And with this book, she's taken all of that to the next level. You hold in your hands the opportunity to be personally mentored by one of the smartest ladies I know. She's coached me personally one-on-one on many occasions. Her insights and her understanding of the material are unparalleled and can help you sit quietly and effectively, efficiently change your life and the financial reality. So sit back, relax, get comfortable, start tapping, and begin the journey to finally unleashing your creative potential, following your dream and passions, and creating a life of success and abundance. So Nick Portner is an author of another famous book, The Tapping Solution. So Tapping Solution and this Tapping into Wealth are based on EFT, and EFT is absolutely important in our growth. It's going to emotionally free us, and it's going to be really, really, really amazing. So let's go further into the book. Now let's introduce each other to this book and let's understand what is this book all about. We've got a basic idea. Now, after the introduction reading, we'll be a little more clearer. So you may ask yourself this question, that why don't I have more money? I hear that over and over from people who are frustrated about feeling stuck in an income bracket, despite their strong desire and best efforts to have a lot more. Many work harder, yet don't reap the rewards of it. Others use the popular New Age idea of law of attraction to create more wealth by consciously focusing their thoughts on. More on this chapter will be coming in chapter 1, but wonder why this doesn't end up working for them. Most people feel frustrated, disappointed, and down on themselves for their inability to generate a larger income. Then the blame and excuses begin. What's wrong with me that I can't make more money? Why? What have I done to deserve this? I don't know how to make more money, etc., etc., etc. There'll come a time when all of you may have compared yourself to your peers or to family or to somebody, and then you're like in an abyss and thinking, oh my God, everyone has everything. I never get what I want. He's not been kind to me. So many things that you're going through. Now, all these negative messages and emotions reinforce what you don't want. So get this very, very, very clearly. By now, the magic book is over, and so is Impossible Dreams. When we compare ourselves to people and we feel that, oh shit, I don't have what I really wanted, we are only enhancing that circle and we will get more of what we don't want. Now it's a time to change the dynamics between you and the money. I wrote this book to help you overcome the main factors that block financial freedom by using powerful techniques. The power to change your money situation is in your hands, or more specifically, in your mind. It doesn't matter what's in your bank account or what your current income is. If you're willing to explore how past experiences create your current view of money and release them, you can open the door to more money than you can imagine having. I personally built my current career, using strategies in this book. You too can. Once you understand what I teach you, the power to take charge of and greatly increase how much wealth you create and amass will be yours. I want you to be rich. Unlike many well-known coaches using mind-body approaches, I come from a science and business background. I earned a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering from Worcester Polytechnic Institute in Massachusetts and approached mind-body technique with the practical mindset of an engineer. After 18 plus years of management and executive sales, so experience at Fortune 500 companies, I decided to change my career path to become a success coach and had to deal with my own blocks against money and wealth. My engineering background drew me to the new science of energy medicine, and I became a certified EFT practitioner. EFT, which is also known as tapping, and it's also known as emotional freedom technique. A lot of this will come into chapter 2, but right now let's wait and watch and let the magic unfold. Step by step is what all of us have to get this journey. So EFT requires using your fingertips to tap on a specific series of acupuncture points while emotionally turning into limiting beliefs or negative experiences and expressing feelings about them as you tap on these points. This mind body technique lets you access your subconscious mind and physically release blocks. I started using EFT for myself and experienced major shifts in my attitudes, actions, and confidence. When I began my business, New England Success Coaching, I had great expectations of success, especially because I was armed with this powerful technique. But as the months went by, I experienced fear, frustration, shame, and sadness about never quite making enough. I operated in survival mode, trying to make enough to pay my bills and survive. Genuinely surprised at how difficult it was to earn a good living. Now, many smart, hardworking, well-intentioned individuals come to me for help. They were also stressed over their money situation, struggling simultaneously to make ends meet, enjoy life, expand their businesses, talents, and lifestyle. They wanted to work with me on their confidence or public speaking and eliminate their stress, anxiety, upsetting memories from the past. I observed how well they hid their private financial hell, that in many cases was a source of their constant fear, pressure, and insecurity. So let's understand everything that's going on in our mind and our body is related to every single thing that we're creating. Money is mere energy. But why do you feel about money? What do you feel? How you get that is all interlinked. So in this beautiful book, in this beautiful journey, I don't even call this book a book. Actually, whatever we're going through our journeys. So Margaret, being our most amazing mentor in this particular department, will help each one of us realize our own potential, why we have those blockages, how to tap them and to release them. So many of these people who came to him, they were open-minded and had done lots of personal development work, but were still limited by money in their personal lives and businesses. This kept them stressed, stuck in fear, and held them back from enjoying life and making more of an effort to use their unique gifts and talents. The limitation in their wealth picture rippled out into aspects of their life, affected their health, their family, their careers. It became clear that the common denominator in all my clients was struggle and limitations related to money, which meant that specific blocks to money were playing a significant role. These blocks and limiting beliefs about money completely dictated their entire wealth picture, income, savings, the goals they set, and even how much debt they had. Many of these people were some of the greatest, most passionate, and talented people I'd ever met, which contributed to how much it bothered me. It just seemed wrong and unfair that such smart, positive, and willing people would struggle to make money. It also hit very close to home as I was experiencing similar struggles in my new business. The frustration drove me to go deeper and figure out how to uncover and release blocks very specific to money and wealth. It pushed me to delve into my own internal blocks and into every teaching I could find about the subject. I discovered that at the core of limiting beliefs, struggles, and self sabotage in relation to money are negative vows made unconsciously around money and wealth. Most originated long ago, usually in childhood, and have long since been forgotten on a conscious level. I studied patterns that I observed of how people handle their money and their attitudes to having money in general. And I discovered how easy it is to recognize money blocks once you know where to look. I don't know how many of you agree, But very soon you'll start agreeing to every single thing, because right now it's so new for all of us, we can't even think there. Tapping, combined with my research that specifically focused on money and wealth, made the clearing of money blocks a phenomenal success for me and for my clients. Aha moments came, gave people insight as they looked back at their lives and finally understood why they made mistakes related to money and success. This understanding allowed them to clear the specific blocks and limiting attitude towards money so they could manifest more money and success with true freedom of choice. Remember, the choice is always with us, right? We don't even realize sometimes we don't choose what we want to choose because there's some limitations. Now, from that enlightenment, I created programs packed with tools to clear every block that limits and sabotages wealth. And it worked. Within a few years, I rose to the top of my profession as a leading worldwide expert in EFT, tapping for money. In today's economic climate, a mind-body approach to money is more essential than ever. As you look at the world, you've seen the financial systems across the globe break down. Like old buildings, their structures are collapsing and need to be rebuilt. Since most are based on a foundation of rules, beliefs, and ways of operating that are outdated, rarely questioned, and in many cases corrupt. And here is a real kicker. You reflect them. Imagine that you have an inner financial system like a city of old structures. Until now, your entire personal financial picture was built on these structures, a foundation of rules, beliefs, and ways of operating that are outdated and often corrupted by shame, self-doubt, fear, and other negative emotions. These inner tenets are as solid, rigid, and real as steel girders and cement foundations. Like a city of old buildings, they must be deconstructed to build a new a wealth reality that supports your life purpose. You can do it. While some doors close, huge new doors and opportunities are opening when you're ready to step through. I stepped through one when I left corporate America and became free of the zombie job and fear of layoffs. But in order to succeed, I needed to do two important key things: deconstruct my inner financial buildings and upgrade my money operating systems. So what did he do? The old systems are supposed to be deconstructed and new systems are supposed to be started. That's always there as a foundation when you build something, right? Now take a huge step up in my personal power to increase enthusiasm, energy, brilliance, action, charisma, and choice. And this is something you will all realize, that you are a bit more enthusiastic about life. You have a bit of more energy. You are a little more brilliant. You are taking actions rather than sitting and pondering over it. And you definitely have a choice. About the charisma, a lot of you probably are already hearing from people, oh, you're radiating so much of joy. Aapki baat hi alag hai. There's this light that we can see in you. What are you doing these days? Probably all of that is already coming. If it is, you can let me in the chat box so that I know that all of us are coming in this world. So now, how huge is the step up that you're willing to make more about money? It will have to match the size of your goals for your mission and wealth. So firstly, that's what we learned in the last book, that we are supposed to have a big mission. We are supposed to have wealth, and it's going to be amazing if we have bigger dreams. When I first started my business, I had an outrageous vision. So my steps had to be big and bold. And they were. Once I got rid of the weight of my resistance to success, a key question to ask yourself is, have I reached my tipping point of pain yet? Or does my life path still seem okay? Are you frustrated about your financial situation or closer to outrage? Or are you just plain sick of it? If you have any of these emotions or all of these emotions, or are just at a point where you're ready to have more money, read on. If you're very thrilled about the mind that you have, this book is not going to be for you. But if you're excited about creating more wealth because you're facing something, then it's going to be amazing. And even if you have a lot of money, but you want still more money, this book is going to be amazing. So I am thrilled to be able to help you open your doors to increased wealth. Throughout the book, I explain how to recognize where your blocks come from. First, I'll introduce you to the mind-body connection to money and how it affects your finances. I explain what tapping is and how you can do it on your own. Then I'll present experiential exercises you can do that will help you reveal your real beliefs and emotions about money and why you need to get serious about having a lot more. We'll examine hidden fears about the downsides of having a lot of money and how you might sabotage your ability to increase wealth by overspending, making bad investments, not managing bill payments, and the like. I'll also include guidance for resetting your wealth set point by shifting your subconscious beliefs about the limit of how much money you should have, which keeps you stuck. And by the end of the book, you'll know why you don't have much more money and how you can shift that. Then you'll be ready to take the real steps to change. I've had thousands of people identify the resistance for getting lots of money and use tapping to clear blocks. Now I want to help you answer the question, why don't I have more money? So you can find and clear your own blocks and make a lot more money. Most chapters have specific sizes to help you get clarity about each lesson, as well as sample scripts to guide you as you use tapping to clear blocks. I want to help you step out of what seems a hopeless financial hell and open the door to a new wealth reality. You can do it. Let the following chapters guide you. Each chapter also has a video with additional tips, exercise, and tapping to superchange your progress. You can find the video by following the QR code or URL provided at the end of each chapter. And this video, Rahul sir and I will ensure that all of us get this right. So that's not, you don't have to really hunt for it. We will find that for you. Yes, please. Now let's start our very first chapter today. And it's amazing. So let's have a couple of minutes today for this beautiful chapter. I can tell you one more thing about this, that you are going to have an absolutely magical, amazing, amazing life when the book comes in front of all of you. So the first chapter is about the basic connection between our mind, body, and money. The mind-body connection has gotten lots of exposure in the last decade, most commonly related to health. Dr. John Samo's best-selling books include Mind Over Back Pain and Louise L. Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, discuss a mind-body connection between negative emotions and illness and how to use it to ease or let go of health problems. I use the same principles for increasing wealth. If you want to greatly increase your wealth, it's important to recognize that money has a mind-body component. You can harness this to take control of and increase how much you have. But using it isn't as effortless as it may sound. It requires you to look within for answers and face old memories or limiting beliefs that could be painful. Finding your personal body-mind connection to money can be the hardest part of this journey. But when you do find it, the rewards can reflect enormously in your bank accounts. So first question is, we've been learning about manifestation, about law of attraction, like attracts like, and so much, right? The question is, isn't using the law of attraction enough? When Oprah featured people from the DVD for The Secret on her show, people rushed to manifest their desires, using what was explained about the law of attraction. But they found it wasn't nearly as easy as it was portrayed on the show. Some of the most important factors within the law of attraction properly weren't even discussed. The law of attraction works on the basic principle that you literally draw to you. Attract, create, receive, or ask, believe, receive, right? Whatever. More of whatever you consciously focus on with intent. So the idea of using the law of attraction means you can purposely put your attention on what you'd like to have. or have more of, and it will show up. There are two major challenges with that. The first is that a majority of us mainly use our conscious thoughts as the key to receiving our desires, or we just visualize what we want and ignore the rest of the vibes. But you're way more than just your thoughts, your vibration, your strongest emotions. What do you feel about the desire? The sum of your positive and negative feelings about it, all of them determine the priority or the way that we manifest. In addition, our emotions are programmed. They are programmed limitations related to getting what you deserve or you're capable of earning. Expectations about your desire, what took root from childhood on, also strongly affect what you get. That's why understanding the mind body connection is so critical. For example, you can visualize having $1 million every day, but your subconscious mind may believe things like, that's 100% impossible. It's wrong to want so much of money. No one in my family ever got a lot, although they always worked very hard. Yeah, whatever conditioning like पैसे पेट पे तो नहीं उगते and पैसे के लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ती है इतना आसानी से नहीं मिलता कुछ भी कंडीशनिंग हो सकती है हमारी. Now, the law of attraction picks up on those vibes and those thoughts, even if you don't consciously acknowledge having them. Those kinds of beliefs can turn your overall vibe about your vision into one of disempowerment, disbelief, and guilt. If you actually create a goal to earn $1 million, it would likely trigger negative emotions like anxiety or fear of failure. The mind body reaction is also known as a stress response and is directly connected to money. All of this changes that entire chain reaction of how you interact with everyone and everything. The overall vibe keeps you from being open to inspiration and creative ideas that lead to creating wealth. So let's be very, very careful that how are we radiating, what are we resonating, where are we going? It's very, 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 very important. So our overall vibe matters so much. It's hard to take enthusiastic action towards earning a large amount of money if your negative beliefs and emotions fight your desire. Without a clear positive vibration about the money you want, you won't be inspired to share your vision with others who might give you ideas, invest in your visions, or support you. According to medical literature, the stress response is a physiological state in which your actual ability to think creatively and expansively is greatly reduced because your brain is focused on being in survival mode, which I talk about in chapter number 4. For the law of attraction to work in your favor, you need to be passionately positive enough to generate a positive vibration about money. Visualize your dreams becoming real and believe that big goals can be achieved. How can you do that if you're only focused on paying bills and having just enough to get by? So very, very important for us to understand. Now, what do we do? Now, how can you feel good about your big goals? If they feel impossible, we can't feel good about them. At that point, the emotions that money triggers are so powerful at the wrong end of the spectrum for manifesting. Negative emotions, often unconscious, they block our ability to attract a positive outcome. You can't just think about what you desire to manifest it. Your entire vibe must match your desire. So if you have doubt, fear, feelings of non deserving, and so on and so forth about whatever you're saying and doing, you probably won't get it. Instead, you'll attract people, situations that align
The Surya Namaskar with mantras. Om Mitraye Namaha. Om Ravaye Namaha. Om Suryaye Namaha. Om Bhanave Namaha. Om Khagaye Namaha. Om Pushne Namaha. Om Hiranyagarbhaye Namaha. Om Marichaye Namaha. Om Adityaya Namaha. Om Savitre Namaha. Om Arkaya Namaha. Om Bhaskaraya Namaha. Salutations to the universal friend. Salutations to the resplendent sun. Salutations to the energy that induces activity within us. Salutations to the one who illumines. Salutations to the sun moving across the sky. Salutations to the giver of strength. Salutations to the golden cosmic self. Salutations to the Lord of the dawn. Salutations to the son of Aditi, the cosmic mother. Salutations to the benevolent mother. Salutations to the energy that we praise and to the one who guides us to salvation. The sun salutation now with the names of the postures both in Sanskrit and English. Pranamasan, Hastuttanasan, Padahastasana, left leg back, Ashvasanchalanasana, Parvatasana, and hold this position. And now slowly progressing into the deeper version of Parvatasana, Adho Mukh Svanasana. Ashtang Namaskar, Bhujangasana, Parvatasana. Left forward, Ashvasanchalanasana, Padahastasana, Hastutthanasana, Pranamasana. On the right side, prayer position, raised arms pose, hand to feet pose, right leg back, equestrian pose, mountain pose, hold mountain pose, and slowly moving into the deeper version of mountain, the downward facing dog. Salute with 8 limbs, cobra, press back to mountain, right forward equestrian pose, hand to feet pose, raised arms position, prayer pose. One round of the sun salutation with awareness on the breathing. So exhaling our hands to the chest, pranam. Inhaling as we bend back. We exhale as we fold forward. Left leg back, inhale as we're arching back. Exhale into the forward. Hold the breath for knees, chest, chin. Inhale as we arch back. Exhale into the forward. Left leg forward, inhale. This is a back bend. Exhale whenever we bend forward. Inhale as we bend back. Exhale, hands to the chest. And on the right, deep breathing. Exhale. A deep inhale. A long exhale. Right leg back with an inhale. And exhale. Hold the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Right leg forward with a deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale.
Hi, good morning. Am I audible? So we'll start with day 4 of mirror work, letting go of your past. Today you start to let go, release, blame, forgive, and move on. How did you do yesterday? Do you feel that you're learning to let go of some of your past hurts and tune your self talk to a more positive channel? I'm so proud of you for loving yourself enough to do these lessons every day and to use your mirror work to reprogram all old tapes you have been playing in your head. So, when we do mirror work, as we are doing now, we are on day 4 of mirror work. Are we releasing? Are we able to release some of our caught up emotions that we've been carrying for a very long time? Ever since we were little children, every message we received, everything we have said, everything we have done, everything we have experienced has been recorded and stored in the filing cabinet in our core, our gut, our solar plexus. I like to imagine that there are little messengers in there and that all our thoughts and experiences are recorded on tapes that the messengers put in the appropriate files. So, uh, right from the time we got our senses, I'm sure uh, we might not be carrying some hurt or some good memory or some scolding or something we shouldn't have done with us, which has been stored somewhere uh, in our body, and it kind of affects our uh, the way we program. Uh, our gut health takes its toll. Maybe our mental health takes its toll. The way we perform in school takes toll over there. So with mirror work, we'll be able to release as we do mirror work and we journal every day. It'll help us release all these past baggages. Many of us have been accumulating files with labels like I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, I don't do anything right. We are buried under piles of old negative tapes. So we have a lot of old uh, uh, we are carrying on, like maybe a teacher must have told us, you are not good at maths, you are not good at this, you can't perform well, you are not meant for stage. Like for me, I had a very big baggage with me, which I finally released when I was doing mirror work. It was it was a hurt that I got in class 6 in front of the whole class. And finally, when I did mirror work and I did another book called The Artist Way, I was able to let it go after so many years. And yes, it was really relaxing, and I felt relieved after doing so. Today, we are going to surprise the little messengers. We are going to do our mirror work and send new messages to our core. I'm willing to let go. I release all blame. I'm ready to forgive. The messengers will pick up these new messages and say, what's this? Where does this get filed? We have never seen this one before. So, when we'll tell these messengers, I'm willing to let go. I release all past baggages. We'll be sending shock waves to these messengers who've always been uh, taking us on a guilt trip, who've always been uh, making us feel that we are not good enough, and they'll get a shock, and there'll be a change in our system, in our way of thinking, in our way of functioning. We'll feel more energetic, we'll feel more loved, we'll be more open and receptive, we'll smile more. Can you imagine how wonderful it would be every day if every day you would learn a new way to let go of the past and create harmony in your life? My dear ones, you have already started by doing your daily mirror work. Each day, you're clearing out the layers, the blocks of the past. Each time you say an affirmation in front of the. Sir, can we please turn the page? In front of the mirror, you're removing another layer. What are the layers of your past that are keeping you from living a happy and fulfilling life? What are the blocks preventing you from forgiving yourself and your past? So often, like many of us have had scar-free childhoods. These scars don't even, these scars or these baggages are not from parents. They could, because recently I learned that while a child is growing up, it's not just the parents who are responsible for the child's growth. Everyone accounts for how the child turns up, shapes up. So it is the community, it is the school, the teachers, the friends, the peers, the relatives, everyone contributes. So there could be some baggage from them which got stuck in the mind and which needs to be released. I think we have trouble identifying these blocks because we honestly don't know what we want to let go of. We know what is not working in our life, and we know what we want to have in our life, yet we don't know what's holding us back. Everything in your life is a mirror of who you are. Just as a mirror reflects your image, your experiences reflect your inner beliefs. You can literally look at your experiences and determine what your beliefs are. If you look at people in your life, you will see that they are all mirroring the same some belief you have about yourself. If you are always being criticized at work, it is probably because you are critical and have become the parent who criticized you, uh, uh, as a child. So, like I said, uh, there was this teacher in my class 6 who made fun of my shoes, and he made me walk in front of the whole class wearing some shoes which I thought were absolutely fine, and that made me go in an inner shell, and I could never stand in front of an audience till date because I felt people are making fun of me. I just couldn't release it. So we all need to release if there is something that will help us further in this journey. So when something that's happening in your life does not feel comfortable for you, you have the opportunity to look inside and ask, how am I contributing to this experience? What is it within me that believes I deserve this? How can I change this belief? How can I forgive myself and my past and learn to let go and move on? Let's affirm, I let go of old limitations and beliefs. I let go and I'm at peace. So, day 4 mirror work exercise. Stand in front of your bathroom mirror. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, allow all the tension to leave your body. Look at your forehead and imagine that you are pressing a button that ejects a disk of all old beliefs and negative thoughts that have been playing in your head. Reach up and imagine that you're pulling this recording out of your head and throwing it away. Now look deeply into your eyes and tell yourself, let's make a new recording of positive beliefs and affirmations. Say these affirmations aloud. I'm willing to let go. I release. I let go. I release all tension. I release all fear. I release all anger. I release all guilt. I release all sadness. I let go of old limitations and beliefs. I let go. I'm at peace. I'm at peace with myself, and I'm at peace with. Sir, can we please turn the page? Sir, can we please turn the page? I'm at peace with the process of life. I'm safe. We all need to feel safe. We all need to feel loved. We all need to love ourselves. I think the moment we start loving ourselves, life is going to be beautiful. Repeat these affirmations 2 or 3 times throughout the day. Whenever any difficult thoughts arise, take out your pocket mirror and repeat these affirmations. If you don't have a pocket mirror handy, you can switch on the selfie mode on your phone and you can do it on the phone. Look at yourself and just say these affirmations aloud or in your mind. with feelings looking into your eyes. Become familiar with them so that repeating them becomes a part of your daily routine. The power is within you. Day 4 journaling exercise. I find that most of the problems in our lives are caused by what I call the big four: criticism, fear, guilt, and resentment. In your journal, create 4 columns, heading each one with one of the big four categories. Think about what role they play in your life. Write your thoughts and feelings about each category in the appropriate column. So when I did this, when I made these 4 columns, I didn't realize first when I started to do it, I was wondering what am I going to fill in this? This was the first time, and I thought it's going to be empty. But I was surprised I just filled 4 pages with each of them. There was so much to let go of, small, small things, silly things, but yes, they mattered. From step 1, take 2 categories you wrote the most about and write down 10 positive affirmations in each category. For example, if one of the categories is resentment, you might write affirmations like, I now choose to release all hurt and resentment. The more resentment I release, the more love I have to give. Everything in our life is a mirror. So, if there is a lot of criticism, left can be the criticism, right side can be the positive affirmations. If there is a lot of guilt, left can be the guilt column and right side can be the affirmation column. So everything in our lives is a mirror of who we are. Think of the people in your life who are most challenging for you. What are the traits that bother you the most about them? Write those down. These people could be anyone who played a part while you were growing up. Like for me, my dad was most critical about the way I looked because he still dotes on me. So he wanted a perfect Shivani, but he didn't realize that while making me perfect, he was he was being very strict. He was being very critical. So I wanted to break all that, and it was like I can't take it. I don't want to take it. I don't want to hear criticism. Now, criticism I don't want to hear from anyone because got so against hearing anything negative about myself. Look at the traits that you listed in step 3. Write down how each of these traits mirrors a belief that you have about yourself. You might also want to jot down what you have learned about yourself in doing today's exercise. The hard thought of the day: I can let go. We create habits and patterns because they deserve us in some way. It is amazing how many illnesses we create because we want to punish a parent. We may not be doing this consciously. In fact, in most cases, it is not conscious, but when we start looking within, we find a pattern. We often create negativity. So, can we turn the page, please? Because we don't know how to handle some areas of our life. If that's the case, ask yourself, what am I feeling sorry about? Who am I angry at? What am I trying to avoid? How can I think this will save me? If you're not ready to l- let something go, you really want to hold on to it because it serves you, it doesn't matter what you do. You will not be able to let it go. However, when you're ready to let something go, it is amazing how easy it is to release it. So, like I said, there is no, I don't see any harm that if you kind of state ki, okay, this person has hurt me and somewhere my progress has been stilled because of a parent or maybe my brother or anyone. And if you release it, you're just releasing it in your mind, you're releasing it in your heart, and you're just journaling it. And I'm sure it really makes a lot of difference. It helps us in our journey ahead. Day 4, mirrorwork meditation, a new decade. See a new door opening to a new decade of great healing. Healing that we've not understood in the past. We are in the process of learning about all the incredible abilities that we have within ourselves. And we are learning to get in touch with those parts of ourselves that have the answer and are there to lead us and guide us in ways that are for our highest good. See this new door opening wide and imagine stepping through it to find healing in many, many different forms. For healing means different things to different people. Some of us have bodies that need healing. Some of us have hearts that need healing. Some of us have minds that need healing. So we are open and receptive to healing that each person needs. We need the door wide for the personal growth. We move through this door knowing we are safe, and so it is. So just be open and receptive and do your mirror work with an open heart. I'm sure you'll get amazing results.
Okay, so let me Shivani for thank you so much. So we're gonna have I'll lead the heart thought. Thank you. I saw a bit of you trying to come in and go out of this session. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. All right. So I'm on an endless journey through eternity. In the infinity of life, all is perfect, whole and complete. The cycle of life is also perfect, whole and complete. There is a time of beginning, a time of growth, a time of being, a time of withering or wearing out, and the time of leaving. They are all part of the perfection of life. We sense it as normal and natural, and though saddened at times, we accept the cycle and its rhythms. Sometimes there's a sudden abrupt ending in mid-cycle. We are jarred and we feel threatened. Someone died too young, or something was smashed and broken. Often thoughts that create pain remind us of our mortality. We too have an ending to our cycle. Shall we live out its fullness, or will we too have an early ending? Life is ever changing. There is no beginning and there is no end. Only a constant cycling and recycling of substance experience. So what do we understand from this? The soul is on an eternal journey. It's never stopping. One garment vis-a-vis one body, one name, one country, one identity is adopted. And when that goes, another one is adopted. So there's no beginning, there's no end. So what finished yesterday started again immediately next moment. And there's never a finish line, there's never a beginning line. It's constant cycling and recycling of substance and experience. Experiences are never lost. Whatever we're experiencing is always there in our subconscious mind. Life is never stuck or static or steal for each moment is ever new and fresh. For example, you feel that aaj kuch bhi nahi kiya, full day bed pe laze kiya. Even there, you're not stuck or static. Even there, you're not stale. Something is happening somewhere. So every ending is a new point of beginning. So today is a very exciting day of our lives. We are in a wonderful adventure and will never go through this particular process again. So when we come to this chapter, do you find some relation between your fourth chapter that Shivani read and explained to you all versus this? What was that about? Letting go of our past. The past can never come back, but it's a part of us. So if we're going to resist the past, कि thoughts दोबारा क्यों आ रही हैं? How do we go about it? We'll never be able to get over it. We may be jarred, we may feel threatened, we may sometimes feel that it's not normal, but it's a part of us. So don't close the doors. Let the doors be open. It's time to heal. Those scars, those marks, that broken you needs to be mended back with love and life. So let's nurture that with love and life. Today, let's go for our meditation. Thank you, Rahul sir, for showcasing this chapter, and to Shivani once again for explaining the fourth chapter. So today, the meditation is about a new decade. It's also about a lot of new beginnings in our life, and I intertwine a couple of learnings. So let's have our back straight. Our backs completely straight, our postures checked, our feet firmly grounded, our eyes softly closed. Take a deep breath in. Fill your lungs with hope. Exhale it ever so gently. Fill yourselves with belief. Exhale it ever so gently. Fill yourselves with light and feel it radiating and being bright within you. And as you exhale, feel the light brightening other lives and world around you. Today is about a new decade. So let's see a new door opening to a decade of great healing. Healing that we have not yet understood in the past. We are in the process of learning about all the incredible abilities that we have within ourselves. So much of potential within us. So many abilities within us. So much to offer to the world within us. And yet, we are learning to get in touch with those parts of ourselves that have the answers and that lead us and guide us in ways that are for our highest good. See this new door opening wider and wider. And imagine stepping through it to find healing in many, many different forms. You're being healed holistically. For somebody, healing may mean healing at a superficial level, outer body healing. For somebody, it may mean healing deep within. For somebody, it may mean healing from the past. Different people, different perceptions, different thoughts. Healing is totally different for all of us. Can be common for few, but everyone has their own definition of healing. Many of us have bodies that need healing. Many of us have broken hearts that need healing. Many of us have mind that needs healing. They're scarred by something somebody said. But many of us, in fact, most of us, are now open and receptive to the healing that each person needs. Let's open the door wider for our personal growth. And let's move through this doorway knowing each one of us is safe. That each one of us is in the world of love, and whatever we want, we create. With the belief that each one of us are on this journey of love and light, that each one of us is here on a journey, endless journey through eternity. And this moment that we're giving so much of attention to is transitory. So let it be. But let's invoke the excitement within us, the love, the compassion within us, as if today is a wonderful adventure, as if today is the best day of our life, where we are free, we've let go of our past completely, all the baggages that we have. Somebody's done wrong, somebody said something, somebody's broken our heart, all that is gone completely. Because we are realizing that we are doing this because we're in a victim mode. We're giving somebody else the importance and not ourselves. Imagine if we are the people who have written, directed, and acted in the movie of our life. If we are the writers and directors, we have written that part where that person has hurt us because we needed to grow into a better person with more experiences. Then where is the question of doubting him or her? They have merely played their part, and yet we're lamenting, yet we're complaining that I have gone through this because so and so has happened. So why should I put myself in a victim mode? Why? When I am whole and complete, when I am on this journey of life, when I am absolutely the beginning and the end, and yet no, there's no beginning, there's no end, then why should I contradict? Life is never stuck. I am never stuck. So why am I deciding to be stuck right now at this moment? Let me tell myself that I am a free bird. That today is the first when I am developing something which is magical, which is absolute beauty, which is so magical that I can put all abundance in it. That right now, whatever limitations I had, limiting beliefs I had, will all vanish because I am being blessed with so much of knowledge coming my way. I'm being trained to let go of my negativity, and I'm being guided towards tapping into abundance, into wealth, into happiness, into joy. So am I not the blessed one? Let's count our blessings internally and feel blessed. Let's do it right now. Each one their own blessings. Now let's bow down to Mother Earth and thank her for all her love, for nurturing us with divine love, with compassion, with empathy, so that each one of us can let go of our past so easily. As if it's just something just kept inside us, and all we have to do is reach within and reach out and keep it away and chuck it. Take that heaviness away. Dear Mother Earth, you have taught me the compassion, and I promise to be on this path of finding myself. Now let's look at our eye level and thank the wonderful lives we've lived. And now let's thank it with the knowledge that all the lives that I've lived, I am the writer, I am the director, and I have produced my life the way I had thought that moment. So I need to work on my vibration. And I need to raise my frequency. So let's thank our lives. Let's thank the present moment that I can be right now aware in my consciousness. That I make a decision of consciously living my life to abundance. That I'm not just saying it, I'm feeling it, because now my heart is in coherence with my mind. And every single day I surrender. This period of surrendering is so magical because I'm letting go of all that was cloaked inside me. I was choked with it. And this period, I'm guided by moonlight, to just cast away, take away all the negative. Feel yourself getting lighter this very moment. And with this beautiful light feeling, look at your life in the future and how promising it looks. What are you feeling? Where are you? Can you see yourself smile, be joyful, radiate happiness? Can you feel it? Can you smile at the life that you've created in the future? All your dreams have come true because you're so whole, you're so complete. You're full of life. How wonderful. So it is. Tathastu. Now let's expand our hands towards the universe above. Thank our divine beings for showering us with choicest of blessings. Thank our cosmos for including us in all its Leela, which we have decided to be part of. Thank our universe for having our back. Thank our angels, our guardians, for always ensuring we are safe and sound. Let's expand our angel heart. I am love. I am light. I am blessed. Wherever I turn, prosperity follows. I let bygones be bygones, and I welcome my present and future with full of love and light. I'm open and receptive to the infinite love and the unconditional abundance in all realms of my being, from all possible universes. And so it is. Let's fold our hands in gratitude. Let's rub our hands, feel the energy flow. Bless our face with all the five senses. Bless our neck, our shoulders, our arms, our legs, down to up, our soles. Now the backside of your legs. Now your hips, the front side of your being, your gut area. And now as your one hand is on the gut area, your one hand is on lower back. What are you doing right now? You're massaging your energy points from the front and the back, energizing your root chakra, Then you're going up, energizing your sacral chakra. Further up above your belly button is the solar plexus chakra, from where all the old patterns are blocked and the new patterns are being made. You're further going up. Your hand is on the behind side of your heart chakra and the front side of your heart chakra. You're opening your heart a bit more. Now your hand is behind your neck and in front of your throat. You're opening your throat chakra from both sides. Now you're more vocal. You're further going up. You're blessing your third eye chakra. And finally, both hands on top of your Brahmandra chakra, the crown chakra. It's open to the spiritual world. Leave your hands, come from all directions. Let your hands be resting on your calves or your thighs or your laps. And feel the energy flow in all part of your being. And all the 7 chakras are moving so beautifully. And there's this feeling of this beautiful light. You can now shine and share your energy and bless all beings on Mother Earth. Let all sentient and unsentient beings being blessed. Let everyone go through transition. Let everyone find this shift. May other Mother Earth and all beings go for ascension. And so it is. Love, light, and blessings, Ruchi, Shivani, Nikita, Pratimaji, Manish, Kamakshi, Yan Oshaji, Shalu, Vijayji, Akshay, Manisha, Neha, Asmeet, Jagpreet and Supriya, Ruchi Madan, Alona, Surendraji, Richa, Anita Sheikh. Lots of love and light. Manish, what happened to you? Your head was down. Were you okay?
It just got freezed.
Okay. Thank you, Rahul sir, for looking after these glitches which are happening in the morning since 2 days. I'm sure they'll not happen. And thank you, Amrita, for sharing assignments. And a couple of you, Richa and Jagpreet Supriya, why is your camera off, or Nikita? Just that when we get blessings, it's nice to have your cameras on. So I need to know, please let me know in my personal window later in the chat box, why are the cameras off? Yeah, Manish, what do you want to share?
Ma'am, yesterday, what you suggested was very magical. And since I am very exponentially interested in changing my life, it worked very nicely. That, you do this affirmation that by the grace of Almighty, all my decisions are very, turning out to be very favorable. Now,
So
today,
again, just a correction when you're saying, yes, they are your decisions, but the minute you say divine guidance, they are the divine decisions.
yes.
The minute I starts not thinking about I, and that, I'm just a channel, and whatever is happening through me is divine, automatically I become more lighter also. So I, the soul, is on this journey. Just a correction. I know it's a little too deeper in spiritual world, but I'm working on you a bit more, Manish, because I know you truly are genuinely interested and you're going to really make it to the next level. Cancer to bhagega hi, abundance to abundance aayegi. Just say, abhi se hi MacBook and iPhones aa gaye, right?
Very good.
इतने सालों से नहीं आए थे, अब 45 में आ गए. अभी तो बहुत wealth amass करनी है. You have to live the life of your dreams, take the holidays that you want, live physically very happy, mentally be charged. A lot is coming your way. That's because you're so open and receptive. So thank you for being so. Yes, and please continue.
Now, today's chapter, yesterday also I said that I was very lucky in my childhood. I didn't have these type of receivings that you are not good or whatever. I was a very average student, a very average person, everything very average. But the belief system that we were raised in the 80s and what today is, there is a huge difference. Like just for an example, what you said, holidaying. Like in our vacations, we used to go to Nanihal and Dadihal, and we were so happy in that. Now today, when vacation times come, the children demand to go to Goa and to Europe and things like that. So that doesn't come naturally to me. You know? And but the today's meditation says that I got that answer that I'm open and receptive to all these present things. That's okay. But that I want to learn how to adapt to those things, because those things are ingrained, and those were not very painful things. That were very acceptable things.
So why do we have to change them? Why can't we learn something new and not change the past? If the past was so perfect, it gives us a feeling of smiling and happiness and joy. That Dadi Hal was fun, Nani Hal was fun, and we were whole and complete. Why do you want to change that? If you were complete, you are complete even now. But yes, when you're open and receptive, आप बहुत कुछ सीखने वाले हो to change your future for a better thing. But why work on your past when it was complete?
Because when I say today to my children in vacation time, let's go to Nanihal and Dadiyal, they are not ready.
So why do you want to make them ready? आपने enjoy किया, was great for you.
It just comes naturally.
तो अच्छा मनीष, उसमें क्या होगा जब आपके पास abundance होगी, आप उनको यूरोप का या गोवा का हॉलिडे करा के आओगे और उसके बाद बोलोगे let's go for 2 days to दादी हाउस, they will be so excited. अभी उनको लगता है कि दादी हाउस जाने से मेरा गोवा चला जाएगा, मनी उतना ही है, तो क्यों बोलेंगे दादी हाउस जाने के लिए? उनका पर्सपेक्टिव भी तो देखिए आप.
राइट.
सो मनी तो उनको पता है ना लिमिटेड है हमारे घर में, क्योंकि अभी तो हमने ग्रो अप वैसे किया उनको. अब जब एकदम से देखेंगे अरे पापा तो नया सीख रहे हैं, पापा ने मुझे भी सिखाया है, फर्क पड़ रहा है. When will they learn in their life, Manish? When they feel the need to learn your techniques. अभी आप ट्राई करोगे सिखाने का, वो बोलेंगे I don't want to learn. But once they see अरे पापा ने तो कैंसर को भी मात दे दिया और उस प्रोसेस में इतना स्पेंड करने के बाद और मनी भी आ गया, ये हॉलिडे भी करा दी, कुछ तो कर रहे हैं पापा जो हमको सीखना है.
Yes.
That's why the saying says that you have to first implement yourself whatever you're learning, practice what you preach, and show the world that I've done it, and then people will hear you. Otherwise, why will they hear you?
Yeah.
Today, if I'm very poor, if I'm living in a chawl and I'm talking about abundance, will you want to come to my sessions?
No.
But today, if I tell you that, Manish, I know that next month is my birthday and I'm buying myself a 15 carat diamond, कहाँ से आएगा मुझे नहीं पता, and if I buy that also and I show that to you, you're like, yeah, ये तो जो बोलती है हो जाता है. Okay, let's learn from her. It's always by what we are saying, what we are doing. So, and उसके लिए vibration high करनी पड़ती है जो आपकी EFT की बुक में आ जाएगी. अभी आपने फर्स्ट स्टेप किया है, मैनिफेस्ट कर रहे हो, दिमाग से बोल रहे हैं कि दिल का कोहेरेंस होना चाहिए. आपको बोला जा रहा है रियलिस्टिक गोल्स रख लो शुरू में, बिकॉज अभी आपका दिल क्या बोल रहा है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. EFT किताब एंड करोगे विद इन अ मंथ, आप रियलाइज करोगे कि अरे आई कैन, ये जो मेरी एनर्जी ब्लॉक्ड है, मैं इस पॉइंट को छूंगा तो मेरी एनर्जी खुल जाएगी. यू लर्न सो मच. सो मुझे लगता है डोंट चेंज द पास्ट, डोंट चेंज योर बच्चास, let them be in their world, but as you're open and receptive, be like that, and let's see the magic unfold. Abhi to we have 3 months to go almost. I mean, so why not? Let's go for it. अभी तो बहुत कुछ आना बाकी है, शुरू हुई है जर्नी.
शुरू हुई है.
अभी तो बस बेबी स्टेप्स कर रहे हैं हम लोग.
बिल्कुल.
So let's wait for the new Manish to come up at the end of 1-to-1 days, then we'll talk about it. कि बच्चे कितना सुन रहे हैं, आप कितना अपने आप की सुन रहे हो. Lots coming our way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you allow, I have a sharing also.
Please.
Yesterday you said that if you have good things happen into life, you should share as much as you can. So, being on this challenge, I work in a government bank, and I was on medical leave since February this year. So all my leaves got exhausted on 17th of October, which I had earned in my last 15-20 years of my service.
Okay.
Now the option was that I will have to go on leave without pay.
Right.
Leave without pay means ki you will not get any salary, any benefit, anything.
Right.
So I presently reside in a bank's quarter. So I would have to leave this quarter as well.
Hmm.
But somehow, since there was no option, so I applied for leave without pay. Now, because I'm not going outside because of exposure, I just sent this application through email and it was being processed.
Hmm.
Now, suddenly, a friend of mine with whom we did our MBA together years back is also in the same bank, and we are not in contact. We know each other. That yes, he is also in the same bank, and very not frequently, very rarely, once in a year, we have WhatsApp exchanges. He visited my office for some work, and the HR guys, he inquired about me, ki, where is Manish? So the HR guys told them that he's on a leave for last 7-8 months since of this challenge. So, and he has applied for leave without pay. So he joined the bank a few years earlier to me. So he has some experience in the HR and other departments as well. So he suggested the HR department that why don't you suggest the management that give this work from home, because there is no concept and no work in our bank where which can be done from home. But since COVID days, bank has come out with a circular that people who are at a very high health risk can be allowed in exceptional circumstances to work from home.
No.
So the HR guys were very excited, and the entire office is very favorable. And the HR guys were very excited to know this, and they searched out that circular, and they called me and asked me that you rewrite your application, and we will process this through this. And it has to go to a very higher management for this sanction. So I wrote that application and emailed it, and very, very magically and very, very luckily that work from home has been sanctioned. And now I have got a relief. I will be getting all my emoluments, salary, my housing will be there, all the benefits will be there. Although it has been sanctioned till 30th November, and the general manager has assured that we will look at that time whether you require it or not, and then we will extend it. So this is a very, very,
That's
very,
huge.
very, very magical for me, this happening. Maybe it's one of the biggest bank in the country, and we have a employee strength of around 3 lakhs. And I think very, very few people have been sanctioned this facility, this benefit. So I think my friend coming, not in being contact, coming to my office, suggesting this, my bosses, my senior management sanctioning it.
Why do you think kyun hua?
Maybe because last 1 year I'm very positive and very eager to change, very eager to heal myself or whatever.
नहीं,
All
but
this,
1 year से आप eager हो, excited हो, अब क्यों हुआ? 10 months पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ? 6 months पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ?
yes, this is the effect, the magical effect.
Yes, so you're increasing your vibration. You are so open and receptive कि आप जो चाह रहे हो वो हो रहा है. In fact, जो नहीं चाह रहे हो वो भी हो रहा है, because आप divine guidance को भी allow कर रहे हो. So when you acknowledge that divine guidance and when you thank the universe, आज क्या करना है आपको? Open your hands to the universe, जहां भी छत पे balcony में जाना है, and just एक मन से thank you बोलना है कि इतना कुछ देने के लिए thank you. Manish, it's a huge breakthrough, पता है? It's huge.
Yes.
And this is because of you and your universal love right now for growing. It's super huge. Congratulations and thank you for sharing. You made me smile early morning, so thank you so much. Yeah, Shalu, you're waiting to say something. Manish, keep being on this journey. Yes, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Every day I'm seeing something magical. कुछ नहीं मिलता है, मन में बोलते हैं thank you, मेरे पास है, और वो फट से आ जाता है.
Very nice. Excellent.
And but I
कुछ बड़ा सोचो.
and I want to ask, like, when I get frustrated, रात तक थक जाते हैं, so sometimes I start shouting on my kids. So how to control myself? बहुत बोलने लगती हूँ. कल ही मेरे साथ हुआ, and I feel so guilty.
इतना क्या कर रही हो, कितना थक रही हो? What are you doing? पहाड़ तोड़ रही हो?
मतलब नींद आने लगती है मेरे को, and they keep, मतलब वो लोग, मम्मा अभी आप और खेलो, 10 बजे के बाद I cannot, because I have to get up in the morning.
चालू, give them a time table बना लो, schedule बना लो बच्चों के साथ. They are very intelligent कि 5 to 7 is our play time. कुछ डिफाइन नहीं करोगे तो बच्चे तो बोलेंगे और वो तो उनकी नेचर है. प्लान कर लो ना. Like my children are, chalo, mine are grown up. I can't compare to your children, but they know this is mom time. And if they want, they tell me, ki, Mama, let's have time together. You have to train them like that. Make a schedule with them. Then they will not say, रात को 9 बजे मम्मा और खेलो. अरे हो गया ना 2 घंटा अच्छे से. And उस 2 घंटा में ना अपने स्मार्टफोन्स को अनस्मार्ट कर दो. क्योंकि अगर मोबाइल में दिखती रहोगी तो that will not be time with them. Then every 2 minutes you're looking in the mobile, it's time off them.
Right.
And your children are young. So अभी जितना टाइम उनको दे दोगी ना वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. अपने नेटफ्लिक्स को थोड़ा कम कर लो. टाइम में चिल्ड्रन
तो बंद हो गया है.
Very
I think because their schools have started 2-3 दिन पहले, तो सारा इधर-उधर होने की वजह से ये हो रहा है. I have to plan.
बच्चों को I know conditional बोल रही हूँ, but बच्चों को ये भी बोल दो कि बेटा होमवर्क करना is important. पहले let's do 1 hour of games. Break that. वो स्कूल से आए हुए पढ़ के आए, play with them. Then say okay, there's 1 hour of homework and 1 more hour of playing. Divide that 2 hours also into twice. So उनको एक इंसेंटिव मिल जाता है कि अरे अभी हल्के हो गए स्कूल से आकर, and now it's time for a homework. Make them more productive. तुम स्कूल से आके बोल के पहले होमवर्क कर लो फिर खेलेंगे, अगेन कंडीशनल हो जाएगा. पहले खेलो, वो होमवर्क बेटर कर पाएंगे. जो 1 घंटे में कर पाएंगे 50 मिनट्स में कर लेंगे, बिकॉज उनमें एनर्जी आ चुकी है खेल कर. दे हैप्पी.
Right.
Learn to spend quality time with the children. You know, लोग बोलते हैं दिन भर I'm a very good mother, I'm all the time around them, or I'm a very bad mother because I'm all the time working, is absolute bullshit. If you give them good quality time, that's the best mothering time. Quality matters. So give them quality. And please, अपने आप को बोलो that I am very centered, very calm, very patient. I'm divinely patient. गुस्सा तो आने का मतलब ही नहीं है. गुस्सा आ रहा है मतलब कुछ इनकम्प्लीट है. एंड अभी तुम्हारी मिरर वर्क की जर्नी आज तो डे 4 ही है. 15 डेज अपने आप को और दो, बहुत चेंज आएगा. Thank you everyone for sharing your light. Let's meet each other tomorrow at 5. Thank you. And Shivani, once again, thank you for everything. Thank you.